Good morning, Rabboisai. Oh, I have to unmute this. Okay, I'm unmuted. Good morning, Rabboisai. How's everybody doing on Zoom? It is 7:15 in Eretz Yisrael. I happen to be in Chicago right now. 7:20 in Eretz Yisrael. You're right. 7:20 in Eretz Yisrael, which means it's 11:20 here in Chicago, and there is a very. How come I hear somebody talking? What's going on, Gary?
Some people would say, if it would start 7:20, they would say to us, maybe come 10 minutes earlier, and then you can start on time.
Okay. Listen, we don't have time for jokes now. We have a massive, massive daf. Just to read the words takes over an hour. So I'm going to try not to interrupt. Lilu Nishmas Imi, Ruspas Mordechai, Yishkoyach Gary, for all that you do. We appreciate it. Thanks for being there on time. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvaroi. All right, so the plan is as follows. We are going to, Be'ez Hashem, finish Daf Nun Dalet. We're going to do today Daf Nun Dalet. As soon as Nun Dalet is over, we are going to shut down the YouTube. Zoom can continue. There are a few tzaddikim in this room that say that they want to stay. About 5-6 people are going to stay all the way to 1 o'clock in the morning. It's all about the daf. It's all about the Yomi. It's all about the Yomi. So we have to make sure that there's a shir in Eretz Yisrael, Matzah Yantif. So we're doing a double header now, and then a few hours later, tomorrow morning in Chicago, Friday morning, Erev Yantif, there's going to be another shir at 11:15 in the morning. So it's 3 shiurim, one after another. All right.
And you get to do it next week.
And we'll do it all over again at the end of Yantif next week. So we are holding Daf Nun Gimel Amud Beis. We're discussing Yoel, we don't have time now. So we're holding Daf Nun Gimel Amud Beis on the bottom we're talking about Reb Meir's wife Bruria, the famous Bruria. Says the Gemara, and by the way, we don't have to say anything. We don't have to add anything, just the Gemara as is. En Hagdama, this is Agadta. So you could insert your own Pirushim or go to the Pirushim in the back, in the Marsha, in the Maral, etc. Not everything is exactly as it says it. There's a lot of Soidus, hidden Torah behind over here. Bruria. She bumped into a guy, she saw a Talmud that was learning Torah quietly. Bacha Bey, she gave him a gesunte Stois, they say in Yiddish. She gave him a kick. Omerlei loikach kosov, what are you doing? It says, Arucho ba'koil ushmura. It's arranged, all, and then it will be guarded. Im arucho bermache vorim shalcha mishtameres, if it's arranged with all your 248 limbs, then it will be kept for good. In other words, when you speak something out, when you talk Torah with your mouth, and it's loud, then your whole body gets involved, and therefore you get to keep the Torah. You don't forget it. Tana. I want to point out here's a little bit of a hidden idea in this Gemara. I'll point it out. Talmud Echad. Watch this. Here, right here. There was a Talmud, Hoyle Eliezer. He used to learn Torah quietly. He forgot his learning. Next sugya. Tana. Says the Gemara. Talmud Echad, there was a Talmud, Hoyle Eliezer. The same Rebbe Eliezer had a Talmud. He was supposed to die a death penalty of Sreifa. Amru hanichulay shadam gadol shimesh. Leave him alone. He served a very chosh of a person. Leave him alone. So we could go weiter and just read it as is, or we could say that the Gemara here has a little bit of a hint, a little bit of a secret going on here. If you were to read it plain and simple, you just go weiter. There was a Talmud that forgot his learning, and there's a Talmud, but in fact, what the Gemara might be saying here is not to scare people away and say, listen, if you learn to yourself, you might be chayiv misa, and a lot of people will stop learning because of that. So the Gemara continues, but the Gemara over here is telling us this Talmud that's Chayiv Misa Sreifa is actually the same person that forgot his learning. The reason why he's Chayiv Sreifa is because he forgot his learning. So it's very interesting how the Gemara worded it so you don't pay attention to it, you don't get scared. But if you want to look deep into it, say, look, this Talmud, new sugya, Tana Talmud echad hayolei Rebbe Eliezer and it's Chayiv Sreifa. It's the same exact guy. And the reason why he's Chayiv Sreifa is because of the story right before. Shach Talmuda, he used to learn quietly. Anyways, not to scare you off, but of course the Stipler says, if you don't learn at all, of course you Chayiv Sreifa or whatever you're Chayiv. Shouldn't worry about it. Obviously it's much better to learn Torah. If you don't do it the proper way, okay. Now, if somebody has a good reason for people to learn quietly, let me know, because I like to learn quietly. Big problem. Amalei Shmuel Rav Yehuda, Shinina. You sharp one. Psach pumech krei. Open up your mouth to read. Psach pumech tane. Kehechet et eskaimech. So that the Torah, you should read the Torah out loud. That the Torah you should be able to keep the Torah, remember it. The Torah chayi, and like this, you'll live longer. Shenemar. Ki chayim hem lemoitzeeyem ulechol besoroi marpei. It's life for those who find it, and it should be a healer for his flesh. Al tikri lemoitzeeyem, for those who find it. Don't read lemoitzeeyem, ela lemoitzeeyem. You take the word moitza and you make moitzi. Bapeh. Then we have a similar shot. I'm just thinking out loud. Is it hamoitzi or moitza? Maybe I'm completely off. Okay. I'll think of lemoitzeeyem lemoitzeeyem bapeh. Oh, malei shmuel. What? Okay, now I am, but the whole day when I prepared 3 shiurim was to myself and quiet. Amalei Shmuel Rav Yehuda, Shinino, Chatoy ve'echol, Chatoy v'ishti. Again, the simple pshat in the Gemaras, and you could learn whatever you want. The simple pshat here is, if you have the means, you have a little money, go ahead, enjoy yourself. That's what Rashi says. If you want, you could say that it doesn't, what, the Gemara is talking about to indulge in Gashmias, Chatoy ve'echol, Chatoy ve'ishti. You should eat, go to shallots every day, eat and drink. The Amud Azlinim ki luladame. This world that we live in is like a wedding. Everybody that made a wedding knows you spend all this money and it's over like that. Or if you got married yourself, you know, you're in and out. That's this world. So I'm sure that there's another deeper pshat here, that you should chap mitzvahs, you should chap Torah. Before you know it, it's all over. Omalei Rav, the Rav Amnun, and Rav said to Rav Amnun, B'ni, im yesh lecha heitev lach. If you have a little means, you have some money, enjoy it. Shein b'sho'il tainog. You're not going to bring it down there to Gehenna with you. Ve'elam moves ismamea. And death doesn't wait. It comes quickly. Maybe, I should worry about my children. I should leave over a little inheritance for them. Who's going to tell you what's going on when you're down there? Humans are like the grass in the field. Don't worry about your children, says the Gemara. Basically, if they deserve it, they'll get it. If they don't need it, they will take care of themselves, says Rashi. You don't have to worry about your children. People, their entire life, all they do is accumulate wealth so that the children will be okay, to set their family up. Don't worry about them. We are like blades of grass. These guys go, these guys come. Worry about yourself. Do the mitzvahs. Do what you need to do. They'll take care of themselves. Yeshua ben Levi. If somebody's on the way, dangerous way, and he doesn't have anybody accompanying him, what should he do? Yasig bat Torah. Now, as soon as I read this, like, doesn't everybody have to learn when they're on the way? Like, what's the big chiddush? You always have to learn Torah. But perhaps he's so concerned, he's constantly looking over his shoulder to his right and to his left. Where are these guys coming out of? Where are the bandits coming from? Don't worry about it. Learn Torah and Torah will take care of you. Shenemar ki levayas chein heim. They'll accompany you. Chosh beroishai, the famous Gemara, Yasig bat Torah. You have a headache? Learn some Torah. Shenemar ki levayas chein Heim l'reishecha. It's for your head also. Chosh b'groinoi. What if you have a throat ache? Yasi bat Torah. Shenemar va'anokim l'gargir yisecha. Torah is like a necklace around your throat. Chosh b'meihav yasi bat Torah. If you have a stomach ache, yasi bat Torah. Shenemar refuois tia l'shorecha. It'll be a healing for your stomach. Chosh b'atzmoisa. If you have a bone ache, yasi bat Torah. The bottom line is, Rabbi Isai, first of all, we could mention the famous Rabbeinu Yonah, which is kedai to mention every month or so. It's one of the most beautiful things ever. Rabbeinu Yonah says, and especially now after Yom Kippur, everybody in this world is granted a certain amount of Yisurim that he has to go through. Every single person is going to go through those Yisurim. This guy gets his cancer, and that guy gets his kid dies, Rahman al-Islam, and Yisurim, nobody's parted from Yisurim in this world. Kids go off the derech, etc., etc. But the Rabbeinu Yonah says that you could choose your Yisurim by saying, I want my Yisurim through Torah. By getting up early in the morning to do the daf, and it's hard, you're taking your cancer away. You're throwing your cancer out the window. You're choosing your Yisurim with Torah. So that's number one. That's what the Gemara says, Yasik bat Torah, you have a headache, Yasik bat Torah. But also Torah itself has healing powers, but it's amazing, Rabbeinu Yonah, no? It's a way to, Rosh Hashanah, it's nigzar. You're going to lose your money, you're going to do that. But I could choose to take my pekel of Yisurim and turn it into Torah. It's unbelievable. Yasik bat Torah shenemar, v'shikui la'atzmo yisecha. So if a person has a bone ache, v'shikui is the marrow of the bone, la'atzmo yisecha. Chosh b'chol guvi yasik bat Torah. His entire body hurts him. Learn Torah. Shenem al chol b'sori marpei. Or Rabbi Yehuda boy reish leikim midas hakadosh baruch hu midas bas v'dom. It's interesting. I was just speaking to somebody this Yom Kippur who told me that she has high blood pressure, but she refuses to take the medication. Why? Because it has side effects. So, what are you crazy? Your blood? I refuse to take it. It's true about all medicines, right? Medicines have side effects. But Hakadosh Baruch Hu's medicine doesn't have a side effect. It's great for this thing, but it'll knock something else out. He gives you Torah, it's great for the entire body. It heals everything and without any side effects. Torah is the best. It's beautiful. You'll keep it in your stomach, this Torah. Go together on your lips. When is Torah pleasant? When you're able to keep it and remember it. And how do you do so? When you speak it out loud, everything's organized on your lips. When does a person have simcha? He's happy. V'davar bi'itoi ma toiv. So if a person knows how to answer something that they ask him, ma toiv, kum tzarayin. We're only going to 1 o'clock in the morning. Favos nisht. Hey Mosai, it's a gishmak sugi. Rabbi said, this is agata, you're going to love this stuff. Come in. Hey Mosai simcha le'ish bizman shemane bepiv. When they ask him a kasha, right? If you don't know anything, sit there like a dodo. No. But if you know how to answer, it's gishmak. You have simcha. Rabbi Yitzchak Amamacha, the famous pasuk, Torah is very close to you. It's in your mouth, in your heart to do it. When is Torah close to you? When you say it out loud, when you say the words, and you're willing to do it. And the words that come out of your mouth, from your lips, Bal Monato Selo. You'll never, Hakadosh Baruch Hu won't be Moneya, won't hold back forever. Selo is forever. When you're saying it out loud, again with this, the same thing. When you learn Torah, you're supposed to say the words out loud. Rava has a contradiction. He His heart's desire, his taiva, what he wants, he gave to him right away. Now. But it says, right away, that he asked, he requested, you're not gonna what, hold back. Okay, but it takes time. It's not right away. Says Rava, Zacha, if you Zaycha Tavas Livin Sataloi. Lo Zacha. If he's Zaycha, okay, so it'll happen right away. It wasn't Zaycha, he'll have to wait a little bit. Tana Bei Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov, Kol Mokom Sheneman Netzach, Sela Voed. These three words, Netzach, Sela Voed, Ein Loi Hefsek Olam, it means it'll last forever. Netzach D'chsiv, Ki Loi La'olam. Here, so in the pasuk it says La'olam. La'olam means forever. But in the same pasuk it says Ki Loi La'olam Ariv. I'm not going to fight forever. V'loi L'netzach Ektzov. But I don't know what L'netzach means. But since the beginning of the pasuk it says La'olam, La'olam is forever. So the word L'netzach means forever. Ektzov. I'm not going to be angry forever. Sela. How do I know Sela means forever? D'chsiv Kasher Shomanu Kein Re'inu. This is what we heard. This is what we saw. Be'ir Hashem Tzvakois Be'ir Elokeinu. Elokim Yichanenena Ad Oilam Sela. Because Baruch is going to establish it Ad Oilam again. The word Oilam means forever. Sela, forever. So now we know Sela means forever. Voed D'chsiv Hashem Yimloich La'olam Voed. So again, once again, we have the word Yishkoyach. See what's going on here? You got to come into the screen for a second, even though we're in a big rush here. Y'all's here, giving water, charge of the water, till 1 o'clock in the morning. No. Rabbi Isai, it says here Siman. Why does the Gemara always say Siman? Siman, Anakim, L'chayav, Luchais Char. So on this daf, all the way at the end, we're going to see what the Siman is. That a person who makes Simanim, and this is a Siman, person who's able to take his Torah and make some sort of. I once went to in Eretz, they have a thing called Bar Sud. All you have to do is, it's a scam basically. You give them 2,000 shekel and they teach you how to remember how to learn. Kids, it's impossible. I went to like all these lessons, but it's how to make simanim, how to make a movie out of the Gemara, how to make scenes and different things. So the Gemara has simanim, has a couple words, anakim l'chayav luchais charas, and you're supposed to remember the sugya with that. And that the Gemara is going to discuss this. Not now. This happens nothing to do with what the Gemara is saying, but it happens to be that on this daf it says siman. You should make necklaces for your throat. It's not a choker, it's a necklace. A necklace is very loose. So if you're a loose person, you're an easygoing guy. Like Dr. Epstein, an easygoing guy, everything, nothing bothers him. Then, v'nira ve'eni nira, and he's like if you have a beard, so you don't really see the neck unless you pick it up a lot, but most of the time, 90% of the time, it blocks the throat. Talmudoi miskayim biyodoi. In other words, he's a person that's not seen outside. He's a person that hides at home, and he's not busy shopping and doing things outside. He's in the house, he's in a Makom Torah, learning Torah. He's a person that's easygoing, and he's moichel other people. Not everything that people do. He doesn't get insulted every 2 seconds from other people. That's a person that Talmudai Miskayim Biyadai, he's learning, he'll remember his learning. So don't come to me and say, I learned the Daf Yomi and I don't remember anything. That just means that you're not an easygoing guy. It's posh. Okay, fine. V'im lav ain't Talmudim miskayim biyodai. If not an easygoing person, and you drazach around in the stores all day, you're outside, ain't miskayim biyodai. Your cheeks are like the beds of spices. The beds of spices, people just walk all over it, and you're like that. In other words, you're an unav. People walk all over you, and you don't care. And you're like this, the fragrance that everybody takes a part of it. You teach Torah to other people. Talmudim miskayim. V'mlav ein Talmudim miskayim. Talking about the luchos. So the Gemara makes a play on the words here. Luchos could be luchayav, like again the cheeks. like a stone that doesn't get worn out. Talmudai miskayim biyodai. And therefore, in other words, you teach other people Torah, and you chazer, says Rashi, what you learn, you do chazara, you do the 8 minute daf, then Torah miskayim biyodai. Vim lav, ein Talmud, forget about the 8 minute daf, it doesn't exist anymore. Vim lav, ein Talmud miskayim biyodai. V'amr lezer, chas v'shalom, it's coming back soon, it's coming back very soon. V'amr lezer, ma'idich siv choros ala luchos, it's engraved in the luchos. If the first luchos weren't broken, Klal Yisrael will never forget the Torah. Why? Because the choros of the luchos, the engravement in the luchos, is not just in the luchos, it's engraved in Klal Yisrael. That is a symbol, it's a siman of what Klal Yisrael has. It's not, here's a stone that's engraved and here's Klal Yisrael. No, what's engraved over here happens to the entire Klal Yisrael. Unfortunately, the luchos were broken, so we don't have that bracha of not forgetting the Torah. If the luchos weren't broken, then the nations wouldn't be able to control us. There wouldn't be the war, the Shoah, the Nazis. All these things wouldn't have happened if we would have had the luchos. Shenemar choros, al tikri choros, elo cheros. If you just put a tseire, it's the same letters, but it's the way you read it. You can read it cheros. It means freedom. We would be free with the luchos. The luchos would give us freedom. Omar Rav Maslam, Ma'idich Umemidbar matana, and from the Torah describes, we went from here to there, from the desert to matana. If you're like in the desert, that everybody just trods upon and nobody cares. Talmud miskan biyodoi, again, it's a nova. V'mlav Talmud miskan biyodoi. Rava beredei Rav Yosef, this is the famous Rava. They had a fight, it's a different sugya. Basically, Rav Yosef, the Rebbe, was upset at Rava. Ki motam ala Yomi the Kippur, mamish in Yonah the Yoma, was Yom Kippur. Omar Ezel v'faisei, yeah, everybody on Yom Kippur, they want to do tshuva, they want to ask mechila from the different people, especially from a Rebbe. He wants to ask mechila. We're holding, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lines from the bottom. He bumped into the shamish who was in the middle of diluting the wine, right? The wine was very strong, you add water. Omar Lei says, Rav, he sneaks in there. Now, Rav Yosef, don't forget, we had a lot that Rav Yosef forgot his learning. Rav Yosef is also blind. He's blind, he didn't notice that Rav was standing right there. Omar Lei, he tells the shamish, do me a favor, let me take care of this. Let me get my foot in the door here. So he gave him the wine, he did the dilution. When Rav Yosef tasted the wine, I could taste in the wine that this is actually the same ratio that Rava uses. We had a different sugya. Rava uses, we learned 3-1. I think it was Rava that said 3-1. Says Gemara, Omalei Anohu, yeah, I'm here, I'm Rava, hi. Don't sit down until you could explain to me what's going on here in these psukim. So we're reading it, we read it every time, every year. We don't care. It's just the Torah is describing. They stopped here and they went there and they stopped again. So Rav Yosef said, no, there must be something deeper going on over here. It's not like you think. Omalei, just think about this. Rav Yosef is trying to drink wine and he suddenly notices somebody's there. Immediately has a question for him. On the spot, he doesn't think for a second. And what does Rava do? On the spot, he has an answer. He doesn't get confused for a millisecond. Yeah, you come to somebody's suda, you have a dvar Torah, until it comes out. On the spot, boom! And he says a beautiful pshat. Now, I believe that Rav Yosef is also hinting to him. He might have thought that he knows this pshat. He's trying to give him a little bit of a shtach. See if you see a shtach here. If a person puts himself like a midbar, like a desert that everybody trods upon, so So they went from Midbar to Matana. So the Torah is telling you, you act like a desert, you'll get it, you'll receive the Torah as a present. And once you receive that present, Nechalayel, Hagush Baruch Hu gives it to you, and it's like an inheritance, it becomes yours. As the Torah says, they went from Matana to Nachlayel. And then the next step is, you take that gift, you don't just sit with it, you learn it, and then you become great. But a lot of times, people that become great, they start acting haughty. Hagush Baruch Hu put him right back down. As the pasuk says, a guy, he's going to go into the valley. He says, however, you do tshuva, Hagush Baruch Hu will take you right back where you came from. Shenemar kol gay, you're in the valley, you're in gay. You know, say, you'll go up to a higher place. Fine, that was the end of the story. The animals will turn around, will take it back. Prepare in poor Elikim. He chazers everything he learns right away, immediately. As soon as he learns, he does chazar, he goes to Mitaf. Or he takes chavrusa, learns it again. Rashi, two pshatim, second pshat is, he belittles himself to learn Torah. He's not embarrassed to ask the questions. He's not embarrassed to do whatever it takes to learn Torah. He doesn't have, like they say in yeshivas, he doesn't have the stoltz. So, me, I'm going to ask this question. Everybody thinks I'm a Balkishrin. How does somebody like me ask such a simple question? No. You menabel yourself. You put yourself down. You go over to the person. You beg somebody to learn with him. Whatever it is, whatever it takes to learn Torah, then Torah is miskayim. V'imlav, ein tamudim miskayim b'yodo, and if you're haughty and you don't do all this stuff, you won't remember the Torah. V'moisekain, and if you do it, another step. Hagush Baruch Hu Yisrael Yisuda Ba'atzma. Hagush Baruch Hu will prepare a meal for him. Shenemar Tochem B'Toivascha Le'oni Elokim. Like a ani, like a poor person, says Rashi, who goes from door to door begging for another dollar, or a shekel, whatever it is. You go like a ani, then it is Elokim. Then Elokim takes care of you. What's special about a fig? Figs are different than all other fruit. We had it just recently. I don't know recently, but in the last Masechta or so, maybe in Shabbos. Figs, they come off the tree at different periods of the year. It's not like one harvest. So noitzer teina, if you guard your figs, yoichal piri, you're going to eat the fruit. Why is Torah similar to a fig? Matein is zu, because man shodim mashrish ba moitzer bateinim. As long as you look for them, you'll find you go tomorrow, you'll find another teina. You come 3 days later, another one became ripe. Av divir Torah calls man shodim hoige bohen moitzer bem tam. As long as you learn and you try harder, the fact is, Rabbi say, that's partial. Anytime you learn a sugya and then you learn it again, you get a little bit more clear. You learn it again, even more clear. At least 4 times just to get it to the basic level, right? Torah, as long you dig deeper in, I'm not talking about just reading it. Dig deeper, learn on a different level. You'll find more gems. We just turned to Daf Yomi Beis, sponsored by Mark Steinberg for Shidduch, for Yitzchak Pesach Yehuda ben Meir Yosef, and by Anonymous Hatzlacha in Yiddishkeit and a schos for his family to be Torah Diki Yidden. Amen. Torah is like a deer, female deer. Now, just as Akdama, a short Akdama, every taiva in this world, it's not fair if there's a taiva and there's nothing that balances out on the other side. The taiva of Ishus is Torah, l'chayra. That's the balance. You could get into Torah the same way you get into Ishus. Says the Gemara, I yeles ahavim yalas chen. Lama nimshlu divrei Torah la yeles loy maloch ma yolo rachmot tsar v'chaviva boyalo kol shah v'shah kishor rishayna. Her partner has the same hana every single time with the deer. Av divrei Torah chavim alindeh kol shah v'shah kishah rishayna. So too, people that learn Torah, as much as they learn, as far as they go, they have the same hana each and every time. V'yalas chen shemalas chen alindeh. She gives an extra special chen to those who learn. Dadeo your avucha b'choleis, the continuation of the pasuk. Lama nimshlu divrei Torah ledad. Why is Torah nimshal to the breast? Ma dad zeh kol zman shatinok memashmish boy moitzachalav. As long as the baby wants this milk, av divrei Torah kol zman shadam hoige boy moitzabem tam. So to Torah, as long as you dig deeper and deeper, you'll find more and more flavor. Bahavasa, there's unbelievable lashon over here. Bahavasa tishge tamid. I'm crazy in love with you. Tishge, like crazy, like shoiga, tamid, mishuga. Bahavasa tishge tamid. Kigoy Rebbe Elazar ben Pedas. Omer Rebbe Elazar shoyi yoshev vayse b'Torah b'shuka tachlin shel tzipori. Rebbe Elazar would sit in the lower level of the marketplace in Tzipori. Uzdina pashat from being so orangutan and fatracht and learning, he was so involved in his learning, he forgot that he left his coat all the way back there. Muta b'shuka elyon shel Tzipori. So some guy decided to chop his coat, to steal it. He took his coat and a king cobra jumped out and scared him off. In other words, Talmid Chacham, first of all, you see how involved he was in his learning. We had the other day where the Talmid Chacham would walk out of the Tchum not realizing where they were. And over here, Talmid Chacham, he forgot his coat. Yo, guess what? I didn't touch the water since last time he gave me. But it's okay. He wants to pour me more water. Should I let him? Listen, the night is young. We're still going for another hour plus. Don't worry about it. You'll have your chance. Anyway, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu protects the Talmid Chacham with his absent-mindedness and everything. His things are taken care of. Those who ride tzchayros, the white donkeys, they sit on the judgment. So the Gemara explains every part of this pasuk. Who are those who ride the donkeys? Tzchayros. Yeah, it's telling us what tzchayros is in a second. Talmid Chachamim, imagine, they go from city to city, from place to place, very difficult life. Leave their family from Yom Kippur to Yom Kippur, a year at a time, etc. So these are people that are learning Torah, tzchayros. What does it mean, the white donkey? They make it clear, white. They go through the Torah until it becomes clear. They're able to take the judgment, come out with a pure halacha. We had something in the beginning of the Masechta, I don't know, like a good month ago. Also, the Elu Bali Mikra, Elu Bali Mishnah, a different pasuk. It was like with, I don't remember anymore. Anyway, something with fruit. No? Mishnah, Gemara, whatever. Okay, fine. Elu Bali Mikra, Yoish Val Medin, Shadon and Dinem Islamid. If I would learn the Torah out loud the whole day, I would remember it. V'olche Elu Bali Mikra. So those who go are the people that learn Torah. Tanakh, Mikra. The Torah Shabiksan. Al Derech Elu Bali Mishnah. On the way, people that learn Mishnah. Sicho, those who speak, Elu Bali Talmud. That's Gemara. Shikol Sichasan Divrei Torah. Everything they speak is Torah. Now, could be also, not everything that they speak is Torah, but everything that they speak is Torah. In other words, even when they're speaking to you, like Stam, like how's it going? But if you listen to what they're saying, there's Torah there. They say it b'chachma. Everything is Torah. Even their Sichas Chulin is Torah. Omer Shizvi Mishum Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah Maidach Siv Lo Yachroich Remia Tzidoi. Yachroich is a lashon of burning it, roasting it. Remia is a lie. Tzidoi is your catch, what you trapped. Lo Yichyev Lo Yarich Yomim Tzayod Aramai. This guy, that's a liar. In other words, he goes around, he learns a lot of Torah to show off, and he says, look, I know all this, but it's only a temporary thing. It's like studying, cramming for a test. So he crams and then he shows off. But then he forgets it the next day. So then he's a bad guy, he's a Ramai. Rav Sheshes says, nah, that's not the pshat. That guy's not a Ramai. You know what that guy is, says Rashi? He's a shaita. That's an idiot. Why would he waste his time cramming to show off for one day and then forget it all? No. Just what the pasuk means is fakert. It's a question. Tzayida Ramai Yachroich. What do you think? You think he's doing this for? He's going to learn. He's going to chazer it over. He's going to know well. And it's going to remain forever. It's like a hunter that's hunting birds. As he catches one bird, he breaks his wing. In other words, he makes sure he doesn't run away. Therefore, mishtamer. But if he doesn't do what he needs to do right away, he catches one, goes to the next one. By the time he catches the second one, the first one escapes. Omer Rav, Omer Rav Schor, Omer Ravuna. Ma'dichsiv hoin mehevel yimot. His wealth is just gonna go down. V'koimet, what? I have Omer Ravuna. What do you have? Omer Rabba. Yeah, it's on the side. It probably says Rava. Yeah, it says Rava here. As I said, all over Shas we have Omer Rabba, and on the side it says Rava. And sometimes it says Rava, it says on the side Rabba. Omer Rav Schor, Omer Ravuna. My dichsiv hoy mehevel yimot. His wealth will slowly but surely dissolve, or what's a better word? V'koivitz al yad yarbe. And a person that gathers by hand, slowly, he'll accumulate. If a person makes his Torah bundles, he learns a bunch of different stuff all at once. He's all over the place. He's learning Mishnah Brura, Gemara. You should only learn the Daf Yomi. No, I'm just kidding. But if a person is all over the place, he's learning Baba Kamen, Baba Basar, Sanhedrin, Eruvin, Mismait, it'll dwindle down. Vimlav, Koivitz al Yad Yarba. Take a little bit, one daf at a time. Yarba, you'll finish as Omer Rabba. Says on the side probably Rava. Yad Rabban Allah Milsa V'Avri Allah. Chachamim know about this, but they can't control themselves. They're over on it. I did what the Gemara tells me to do, and I chazer, and I did everything I was supposed to do. V'kayim biyodei, and I was successful. Tanu Rabbanon. Huh? It's a tikkun seifrim. It's a mistake. What they're saying is that somebody who printed it along the years made a mistake. Torah Rabbanon, Kate say the Mishnah. How did we get the Torah? What happened exactly? Moshe Rabbeinu got directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is the Torah Shebal Peh. Nichnas Aaron. Huh? Where? This whole Gemara. Rashi in Parshas Yisroi brings this whole Gemara. I know it's very familiar. I thought we just learned it recently. But you're saying it's in a Rashi in Yisroi. I don't know. Okay, fine. I believe you. I know it's there, but I remember learning it just recently. Recently meaning in the last 2 years or so. Says the Gemara. Nichnas Aaron. Aaron HaKohen sat opposite him, as Rashi says, when you learn from somebody, you sit across from him. Vishana loy Moshe Pirkoi. So what the Gemara is going to do here is show how each person heard it 4 times. Okay, so Moshe Rabbeinu repeated what he heard from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Aaron HaKohen. Nistalek Aaron V'Yoshel the small Moshe. Aaron HaKohen goes, sits to the left of Moshe. Why to the left? Why not to the right? Because, as we learned, that when you go with the Talmud Chacham, you don't go to his right. You always go to his left. You stand on his left. That's the proper way to do it. So Aaron HaKohen gave a covet to his brother Moshe, sat on his left. Nichnasu Banov, so Aaron's sons come in. Vishan Alem Moshe Pirkon again. Moshe Rabbeinu repeated the Torah to his sons. Now Aaron heard it 2 times. Nistalku Banov Elazar Yoshav Limin Moshe. So the sons got up. Elazar, now that there's already somebody, Aaron HaKohen, sitting to the left, now you could sit to the right. So Elazar sat to the right of Moshe Rabbeinu. Elazar was older, he sat to the right. V'tamar small Aaron. And then Isamar sat to the left. No, Aaron HaKohen got up. Now that there's 3 people, so he got up from the left, went to the right, and Elazar sat to the left. Now this Kenim came in. Moshe repeated it for the 3rd time. Aaron HaKohen heard it for the 3rd time. Now this Kenim got up. The entire nation came in. Moshe Rabbeinu said it for the 4th time. Nimtzu. Biyad Aaron Arba. Aaron HaKohen heard it 4 times. Biyad Banav Shloisha. Biyad Kenim Shnayim. Biyad Kolam Echad. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nostalgic Moshe. Now Moshe Rabbeinu goes away. Aaron Pirkar. Now Aaron HaKohen, who heard it 4 times, now he knows it properly. He's able to repeat it. So he repeated it. So now his sons heard it 4 times. Now Aaron HaKohen got up. Now the sons, they say it over. They heard it 4 times. Everybody heard it 4 times. A person has to teach his Talmud 4 times. He got it directly from Moshe Rabbeinu, who heard it directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Certainly, a simple person from another person, not somebody that heard from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rabbi Kiva Omer, how do you know they have to teach your students until they know it? It's a chiyuv to teach them until they know it. And how do you know that it has to be fluent in their mouth? You have to put it in their mouth. How do you know they have to explain it to them properly? How come they all didn't learn from Moshe directly? Why did Moshe Rabbeinu go away? So the Aaron gets the proper honor, and the Skadim get the proper honor. Why didn't Aaron just learn it directly from Moshe Rabbeinu, and then they learn it directly from Aaron HaKohen? Why did the sons have to hear it from Moshe Rabbeinu? Why did they have to hear it from Moshe? It's much better because Moshe Rabbeinu heard directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mistaya Milsa, it will last. Omar Mar. We learned before that Rabbi Yehuda holds that yes, Aaron HaKohen started off on the left of Moshe because it was only him and Moshe Rabbeinu. But then once Elazar came into the room, Aaron HaKohen got up, or when he finished learning, he got up, went to the right of Moshe Rabbeinu, and Elazar went to the left. Not Elazar went to the right. Says Gemara, 3 people are going on the way. The Rav is in the center, and the one second to the Rav goes to his right. Here, it seems like this is Rabbi Yehuda that says that Aaron Kohen went to the right of Moshe Rabbeinu, but Rabbanan hold that Aaron Kohen stayed to the left of Moshe Rabbeinu. No, it could go according to everybody. Aaron, he was already sitting down. He's already to the left. When it was just him and Moshe Rabbeinu, he sat to the left of Moshe Rabbeinu. So why should he have to stand up and go? If he was standing up already, he was sitting down, so put him on the right. But he didn't go to the right. So to lift him up and make him go from the left to the right, that's too much of a tircha. This Rabbi Isai is, I believe, probably the most famous story in all of Shas, or a huge classic story. And there's a big life lesson to the story. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Preida Havaleyahu Talmida. Rabbi Preida had a Talmud, Arba Meo Zimne V'Gomar. He would teach the student 400 times. Now, I don't want to belittle the story and say 400 is a guzma throughout Shas, but l'chayra, okay, a little bit of a guzma maybe. But it means a huge number of times. 200, whatever, it was a massive amount of time. Yom Echad Bayul Milsa, the mitzvah. They told Rabbi Preida, we got to go for mitzvah, be a sandik, something, who knows. Tana Levi Gomar. So he taught him 400 times, and the fashtop the cup, he didn't get it. When I was reading it today, for the first time, it bothered me. What happened from 398 to 400? What happened? All of a sudden he got it, or each time he got a 400th of it. I don't know exactly what happened. What happened, Rav Preda says? What? The bell only goes off after 400 times. So he didn't understand. It was 0, 0, 0, 0, 400 times 0, big fat 0. At 400 he chopped it all? I don't know what that means. I mean, sometimes you explain it a little differently, sometimes this, but to just repeat, fine. Anyway. What's going on today? Why didn't you chop it after 400? From when the time they came and said, Rebbe, you have to go soon, you have to do a mitzvah, I couldn't concentrate. Every minute I said to myself, oh, Rebbe's going to jump up now and leave. He's going to leave now. Okay, pay attention, we're doing this over. Another 400 times. Think about it. 400 additional times with all the patience in the world. Nafka Baskola, a heavenly voice came out. Would you rather have an extra 400 years corresponding to the 400 times? Oh, so it's mashma was mamish 400 times. It wasn't a guzma. Otherwise, what's this 400 years? Or do you want your entire generation to have Olam Haba? I would prefer that everybody gets Olam Haba than me live another 400 years. Give him both. So Rabbi say, this is an amazing story, and I see this all the time. I don't know, I might be wrong, but you see from Shas, and you see from these stories, that yes, people go to shul every day, let's say. They go every day, they get up at 7 o'clock, and they go, and you're going to get schar for that. But it's when you go out of your comfort zone, when you do the extraordinary, that's when you reach the madrega. That's when you reach godless. I mean, the perfect example is Rebbe Akiva. 24 years. I mean, we can't even imagine leaving home for a week, 2 weeks. I mean, how many people have done that to go learn Torah for a week at a Yarchakal in another country for 2 weeks, 24 years. That's how you become a Rebbe Akiva. Rav Safra, he taught him 400 times, and he's going to get tremendous schar. But it's when you go out of your comfort zone, you do another 400, and you see from the Gemara, he didn't get 800 years to live. He got 400 years. 400 corresponding to the second time that he taught him, not the first time, I think. Anyways, doing chesed out of your comfort zone, you give that shekel, fine. But it's when you go out of your comfort zone for chesed, out of your comfort zone for tefillah, getting up really early to learn Torah, that's when you reach godless. Omer Rav Chizda. Ein Torah, you can't say it enough times. Omer Rav Chizda, Ein Torah niknas elo b'simonim. So here we go. Here's the simanim. Like I mentioned before, it said siman over there. Shenemar simo b'fim, I think you're simo simonel. Shamar dachliv b'maravo, zalamar kamid rebavo. He heard this idea. Omar, atuma hazma asninu. You learn from there. I know hazma asninu. We have a different pasuk. Hatzivi loch tziyunim. You should put tziyunim, signs, similoch, asut tziyunim the Torah. Make signs in the Torah. Umay mashmadai tziyun, listen to simanu. How do you see that this means, a tziyun means a siman? The chsiv v'ra etzem adam, uvana etzlei tziyun, revelazam achi, emor lechachma, achoisi at, umoido labino sikro, asay moidoim la Torah. You should be koiveya itim la Torah. Everybody should have a set time that you sit and you do the daf, you sit and you learn Torah every day, the same time. That's what the Torah says, that's what the Rashi says here. Kavu itim talmidchem, sheyedu eis lava v'lishnois, Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful, wonderful yontif, and a piska tava, and Be'ezer Hashem, we'll see you, Matzah yontif, in Eretz Yisrael. Share should be recorded, and if you want to cheat, you can stick around right now, and we're going to do one more daf as Yoel pours the water for the second daf. Have a Moridik Yontif and a Moridik evening. Whoever wants to leave now is welcome to leave. A good gebencht yor. Good Yontif Avi, good Yontif to the whole chevra.
Look, I'm being here.